You know that feeling, right? You see someone looking great, you think, I can totally wear that. You try it, and it just doesn't quite work the same way on you.
Oh, absolutely. It happens all the time. And usually
Yeah,
it comes down to body type. Different builds, different results.
exactly. And it's not just the clothes, is it? Grooming plays a huge part in that overall impression, too.
It really does. They go hand in hand.
Okay, so for this deep dive, that's our mission. We want to help you figure out how to dress in a way that really flatters your specific body type. And we'll also get into grooming, especially looking at some advice and discussions relevant for Asian men.
Yeah, we've got some great sources lined up. There's a really thorough guide from Real Men, Real Style on body shapes, which is super helpful. Plus, we found some interesting Reddit threads where guys are talking frankly about hair, facial hair, that sort of thing.
Oh, nice.
And a WikiHow article with tons of hairstyle ideas for Asian men and even some advice from Gillette on dealing with things like razor bumps.
Sounds comprehensive. So the goal here is pretty straightforward, really. Give you the tools, the knowledge to make choices that make you feel good.
Right. Because when you feel confident in how you look, it genuinely changes how you carry yourself, how you interact.
Totally. Okay, let's dive in. The foundation, the bedrock of all this, has got to be understanding your body type. Forget just chasing trends dress for the body you have right now.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
And, finding a good tailor, that can be a game changer. Seriously.
A tailor is key.
They can make off-the-rack clothes fit you, not just the mannequin. The core idea is simple. Play up your best features, use clothes to maybe downplay areas you're less keen on. It's visual strategy.
Okay, let's break it down. First shape, the triangle. This is where the waist and hips are wider than the shoulders. Pretty common, right?
Yeah.
Especially as guys get older.
Yeah, very common. So the aim here is to create more balance, add some visual width and structure up top.
How do we do that?
Think tailored blazers, maybe with a subtle pattern, like a check. The pattern draws the eye up. The tailoring adds shape. Pair that with, say, a fitted waistcoat and solid trousers. It creates this illusion of a more balanced silhouette, pulls focus from the midsection.
What about stripes? Always a tricky one. Vertical or horizontal?
Generally, vertical stripes are your friend here. They visually lengthen the upper body, make it look slimmer. Horizontal stripes, okay, maybe, but keep them chest high or above.
And jackets.
Look for structure in the shoulders. A good top coat, for example, can square off your frame nicely. Avoid really slouchy things like bomber jackets. They don't help define the shoulders.
Makes sense. Suits, single or double-breasted?
Definitely lean towards single-breasted. They just give a cleaner, slimmer line. Double-breasted adds bulk right where you don't want it. And when you get it tailored, focus on structure up top, but make sure there's enough room around the waist for comfort.
Right.
Also, use color and detail strategically. Brighter colors, patterns, pocket squares, things like that, keep them on the chest and shoulders to broaden that area. Even casual stuff, like jumpers with color panels high up, paired with darker trousers or jeans, works really well. Navy, charcoal, black around the middle.
Okay, got it. So, on the flip side, what should the triangle shape generally try to avoid?
Well, things like very fitted polo shirts or roll necks can sometimes emphasize narrower shoulders and draw attention to the waist.
Nope.
So maybe approach those with caution.
Okay.
And be careful with really bright colors or busy prints all over the torso. Use them as accents, like you said, pocket squares, maybe cool socks or glasses. Don't go for a huge bright belt that highlights the waist.
Right, draws the eye right there.
Exactly. And finally, skinny fits or trousers with a really sharp taper. Probably not the best bet. They can make the upper body look wider by comparison. Stick to wider or straight leg cuts for better balance.
Good advice. Okay, let's flip the script. Inverted triangle. This is the broad shoulders, broad chest, tapering down to a narrower waist and hips, often athletic guys.
Yeah, the classic V shape. Here, the goal is kind of twofold.
Yeah.
Show off that physique, but also balance it out by adding a bit more visual weight to the lower half.
So how do you add weight down low?
This is where horizontal stripes can actually work for you, especially from the chest down. They help broaden the narrower waist area visually.
Interesting. And shirts. Can they still wear slim fits?
Oh yeah, definitely. Slim fits are great, but maybe consider sizing up just a tad.
Yeah.
You don't want it straining across the back and shoulders. Hint at the muscle, don't shrink wrap it.
Right. Huh.
Slim cotton polos, maybe with a bit of stretch, like spandex. Those are often perfect. They stretch across the shoulders but still look tailored at the waist.
Okay.
And regular V-neck tees can be good too. That V narrows the chest visually, draws the eye down. Just probably avoid the super deep plunging V-necks.
Good call. What about trousers for the inverted triangle?
Straight leg trousers or jeans are usually the way to go. Skinny jeans can sometimes create that chicken leg look if the upper body is very developed.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So straight leg gives better proportion. You could even play with patterned trousers checks, maybe camo shorts to draw a bit of focus downwards. Also, look for trousers with a larger C-drop. That just means they're cut with a bit more room in the back and thighs, which is often needed for athletic builds. Comfort and fit.
And jackets.
Slim fit styles that follow your natural shape are best. You want to see that taper from chest to waist, but maybe not something overly dramatic or cinched.
Gotcha. What should this body type maybe avoid then?
Really structured tailoring can be tricky. Things with heavy shoulder pads or very wide lapels might just exaggerate the broadness up top. Unstructured jackets often look better, softer shoulders. And be mindful of big, bold prints or patterns, especially around the shoulders. Same with scoop necklines. They can throw the proportions off balance.
Okay, moving on. The rectangle shape. Tall, thin, shoulders, waist. Hips are roughly the same width.
Yep. The goal here is to create a bit of an illusion. Widen the shoulders visually, narrow the waist visually, aiming for more of that trapezoid shape. Structure is key.
How do we add structure?
Horizontal stripes are great here, especially across the upper torso. Think classic Breton tees. They really add width up top.
And for smarter looks, blazers, suits.
Structured tailoring again. Look for jackets with some definition in the shoulders. Subtle padding is fine. And get a tailor to just take it in slightly at the back. Creates that waist definition. Layering is also your best friend. A button down under a crew neck jumper. Adds bulk, adds dimension.
Scarves, too.
Scarves are brilliant. Add volume, add interest right around the neckline and upper chest. And don't be afraid of prints, color pops, or details like epaulets on shirts or jackets. Anything that visually expands the upper body.
Any major pitfalls for the rectangle?
Double-breasted jackets. They tend to have straight lines that can just reinforce that rectangular silhouette. Single-breasted, with that shoulder structure and defined waist, is usually a much better choice.
Okay, next shape. Oval. This is characterized by a wider center, wider torso than the shoulders and hips.
Right. For the oval shape, the main aim is usually to create a slimmer, more streamlined look, framing the body.
Where do you start with that?
Often, simple and dark colors are a good starting point. They have that natural slimming effect. Trousers are really important. Make sure the waist is comfortable, never tight or pinching. And here's a classic tip. Suspenders or braces.
Oh, interesting. Why suspenders?
They allow the trousers to hang straight down from the shoulders, creating a much smoother line over the stomach rather than cinching at the waist with a belt. Wear the trousers at your natural waistline, not lower.
Okay.
And pleats in trousers. They can actually be really helpful, adding extra comfort, especially when sitting down if you have larger thighs or seat.
Good point. What about shirts and jackets?
Fit is crucial for shirts. Not too tight, not too baggy. Tailoring might be needed. A wider collar spread often balances a broader face well. For jackets, think dark, single-breasted with just a slight taper. You want it to provide a frame, but not pull or stretch across the buttons.
And ties?
Bow ties can be a great option, actually. They sit neatly under the chin and don't drape over the stomach. If you prefer a standard tie, make sure it's a decent width and long enough to just touch the belt buckle.
What are the main things to avoid for an oval shape?
Anything really tight around the torso is generally not flattering. It just emphasizes the bulk. Also, try to avoid lots of busy patterns or visual clutter, especially around the middle. Keep the focus moving vertically up towards the face.
Makes sense. Okay, finally, the trapezoid shape. This is often called the average or maybe ideal build. Waist is narrower, shoulders are broader.
If this is you, you're kind of fortunate in the clothing department. Most off-the-rack stuff is designed with this shape in mind, so things tend to fit reasonably well with maybe just minor tweaks.
So the goal is just look good.
Pretty much. Showcase that natural athletic shape. Wear clothes that are slim and fitted, but not skin tight. For trousers, avoid baggy styles. Find brands that fit well or get them tailored. You can wear most colors and patterns pretty easily.
Shirts and jackets.
Vertical stripes on shirts make you look a bit taller. Checks and plaids add a little horizontal bulk so you can choose based on your preference. Blazers and suit jackets will naturally emphasize that V shape, tapering at the waist, broadening the shoulders. Buttoning the jacket really highlights that silhouette.
And ties. Standard.
Yep, standard length tip to the belt buckle and standard width around 3 to 3.5 inches. Just avoid extremes, like super skinny or really wide ties that could unbalance your look.
Any general advice for the trapezoid? Anything to watch out for?
Honestly, the main thing is just making sure clothes fit properly. Even with a great natural shape, baggy or ill-fitting clothes just look sloppy. And, if you want to stand out, Avoid looks that are too safe or generic. Use that good base to express some personal style.
That was an incredibly useful breakdown of the body types. Really clear. Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk grooming. We looked at those Reddit threads and the WikiHow article, focusing particularly on insights for Asian men. Because dressing well is great, but grooming is that essential finishing touch, isn't it?
It absolutely is. They're two sides of the same coin for presenting yourself well. Let's start with hair.
Okay.
So one of the Reddit threads was specifically about hairstyles for Asian guys with rounder faces. The general feeling was that shorter styles, cut high on the back and sides, worked really well, sharp and clean.
Interesting. What about popular styles like the two-block?
Well, some felt the volume you get from a two-block might not always be the best complement for a round face. They favored sharper edges, more definition, and a key piece of advice was practical. Always show your barber a photo of what you want. Takes the guesswork out.
Good tip.
Oh, and for guys with thinner hair, that tends to go flat. The suggestion was using a blow dryer for lift, then maybe a light hairspray to hold it.
That is practical. And the WikiHow article had, what, 25 styles? That's a lot of options.
It was impressive.
Yeah.
They broke it down nicely. Short, clean styles like a classic side part, tapered fade, French crop, then medium styles like the two-block, which is huge. Obviously layered fringes, pompadours, and even longer options. Middle parts, wolf cuts, man buns.
Wow.
And what was really helpful is they gave styling tips and suggested face shapes for each. Like a brush-up works for round or square faces. Messy styles are pretty universal. Side parts good for square oval, slick backs for oval round. They specifically mentioned the K-pop influence on the two blocks' popularity.
It's amazing how much face shape comes into play.
It really does dictate what often looks best. Another point from a Reddit thread was about that common issue for Asian hair sticking out of the back if cut too short.
Yes, I've heard about that.
The advice was basically, don't cut it too short there, maybe grow it a bit longer for more options.
Yeah.
Or just a simple classic side part always works.
Okay, let's talk facial hair. This seems like an area with a lot of variation among Asian men.
Huge variation. The Reddit thread on this was fascinating. Lots of guys shared experiences with patchy growth, which seems quite common. Shaving frequency, growth patterns, it varied a lot depending on age, background, Chinese, Taiwanese, Vietnamese, Indian, Korean mixed heritage, all different stories.
So what are the approaches? Clean shaven, goatees.
All of the above. Some prefer to stay clean shaven, especially if the growth is very sparse. Others manage goatees or mustaches. Full beards are less common, maybe, but some guys find it fills in more later in life. There was definitely a concern mentioned about looking, quote, unclean if you just have a little bit of patchy stubble.
Right, so if you do have some facial hair, what's the grooming advice?
Keep it neat. Line up any mustache or goatee really cleanly. Define the edges. And one specific tip was maybe avoid scaring off short sideburns. If the growth is sparse, it can look a bit abrupt. Tidy is the key word.
Okay, tidy and defined. Lastly, razor bumps and ingrown hairs. The Gillette article had some tips.
Yeah, it did. It mentioned that guys with curlier hair types, like those of African or Indo-European descent, might be genetically more prone because of the curl. But the prevention advice, that's good for everyone. Things that increase risk are dry shaving or cutting the hair too short at an angle.
So what are the preventative steps?
Prep is key. Cleanse your skin first, maybe a gentle scrub, warm water. Then hydrate the hair properly with shave cream. Let it soften. Use gentle strokes with a razor. They mentioned the Gillette Skin Guard for sensitive skin. Don't press too hard.
And after shaving?
Moisturize. Use a soothing aftershave balm or lotion to keep the skin hydrated and calm. Consistent prep, gentle technique, and aftercare.
It really sounds like consistency is the theme here, both for shaving and general grooming.
Definitely. It all connects. You dress well for your body type. That's the foundation. Then thoughtful grooming adds that essential polish. It completes the picture.
Yeah, understanding your shape gives you the blueprint for your wardrobe.
Exactly. And then pairing that with grooming that suits your features, your hair, your skin, that's how you create that confident, put-together presence.
And we should stress, these are guidelines, right? A starting point. You absolutely need to experiment and see what feels right for you.
100%. Take the principles, try things out, adapt them to your own personal style and what makes you feel comfortable and confident.
So hopefully, this deep dive has given you some new ideas, maybe a fresh way to think about your style and grooming.
Yeah, so maybe something to think about is how could consciously dressing for your body type and maybe leveling up your grooming routine actually affect your confidence day to day, how you feel, how you interact.
And maybe more immediately, what's one thing we talked about today? A specific style tip or grooming idea that sparked your curiosity, something you might want to explore a bit more?